What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to go into a little bit of a different topic than I usually go into in these videos, and against my better judgment I decided to go on Twitter to see if there was any new Unearthed Arcana printed. But what I got was very different than what I expected. If you've been active in the DnD community on Twitter, you probably already know what I'm going to be talking about today, or you could just read the title. But today we're going to be talking about the combat wheelchair that has been making the rounds over the last week or so. And I'll just be giving my thoughts on the wheelchair itself and on how this is probably going to dictate how Wizards of the Coast prints future content going forward. For those of you who aren't familiar, a Twitter user known as Mustang's Art, who is a strong advocate of inclusivity regarding disabilities in the Dungeons & Dragons community, posted a few weeks back a prototype for a combat wheelchair that was meant to represent some of the disabled players or characters that people would play in their D&D games. Now, the original post blew up. It got spread all over the entire community on Twitter. Everybody seemed to have a different take on this wheelchair. There were a lot of people coming to support the idea of disability inclusivity in Dungeons & Dragons. There were a lot of people who were vehemently against this. There were a lot of arguments thrown around about ableism and realism regarding a wheelchair in a D&D setting, which is kind of funny. But this post and subsequent idea got so large that even some of the big names in the community like Matt Mercer, Joe Cat got involved. Almost every big name in the D&D community had something to say about this topic, mainly supporting the idea of disability inclusion. However, I do believe this is the turning point in how Wizards of the Coast publishes future content in terms of disability inclusion, as you might have missed a tweet made several months back before the Curse of Strahd reprint from the same user, Mustang's Art, on how Esmeralda from Curse of Strahd was made originally to cover up her disability out of some sort of shame, which Chris Perkins, one of the main designers, said, "We're going to fix that." So if this tweet is anything to go off of, we should be seeing some future print of maybe a official wheelchair print or something similar in a future resource book or a adventure. That remains yet to be seen. Now, for what I think about the wheelchair, I think that we already play a game full of magic and monsters and dragons. I feel that the concept of realism really should not be applied to an argument whether a wheelchair is realistic or not, but that's just me. I would not make a character that has this. It's just my own personal reason, but I see no problem with anybody else doing something like this. But that is what has been blowing up the D&D community on Twitter in recent weeks. And I want to hear what you guys have to say about this combat wheelchair idea and overall inclusiveness. Do you think that the D&D community as a whole is inclusive enough? Do you think it needs to be changed? Let me know in the comments down below, guys. I'm very interested to hear your opinions. Also, quick side note, we just hit 400 subscribers, so thanks. That is going to do it for me today, guys. Until next time, have fun, stay safe, and as always, happy gaming.